As usual, I am fashionably moments late, no matter how hard I try. Good night, everybody. It's been a long weekend. I've had to master so many things to pull off tonight's show. But it was kind of easy, and I'll get this out of my ear, because we had an unusual, how would you put it? It's easier if I do this, I guess. We have Nicholas Fisher coming up in the show tonight. But first off, I'm going to go to my desktop presenter, and we say goodnight to everybody. You're rolling up over here. I got the another big screen right here, but I got to get it up on the wall tomorrow. And I think I pretty well got everything sorted out now, and we're going to show off the new .org. And I gotta admit that I got a little bit of butterflies or bananas in my belly about that one, like stage fright, I guess, because it's not much when I think about it. The work was mostly done by E&E News and TEPCO and the media. So E&E News is linking to all the media, and we're gonna zip over that real quick here, and just make sure, because I want to get on with it. We say hi to everybody. I see y'all buzzing up there. Hi, everyone. I forgot the links again. I'll get the links below it. And I never put a link to the site there because I wanted to surprise everybody. And so let's see. Let me double check the audio. Make sure that's working. Good. And I got it. There we go, yeah. I'm really, really, really happy that we got the story out there. Now, I got a lot of work to do on it. Stop apologizing, Dana, and get on with it. All right. You're pulling my leg. Hi, Kate. I'm looping. And sounds good. Fix it stupid. Cool. Scroll blast. Thank you, Candace. Now, this is going to get a little weird. So let's... Oh, wait now. I better get this up here first. And we'll bring that over there. Here we go. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Everybody paying attention, because I might chicken out here at the last second. Alright, so desktop presenter. Check. Why not check the audio? Make sure there's an echo. No echo. What's up, dude? Hang on. Oh, I never had the audio up. Good one. Alrighty, here we go. We're nerve-wracking. The new name is the nuclear proctologist. I'm sure few people are going to giggle. I couldn't resist it. We were sitting here trying to come up with a name. I was in the washroom, and I was like, I got it. And I said, are you leaning around the corner? I said, nuclear proctologist. And it was just laughter for the next 5 minutes. And we know that we were rocking and rolling. And I'm just waiting to make sure that comes up on the screen there, because everything is hardcore. Let me keep going here. Miss Milky the Clown. And I got to get Skype before I go down the site here. I got to get Skype tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to pay for it. And I can dial people up, because I'm wireless. And the plan is crazy. It's 50 cents a minute to talk to America. I can't do interviews. So I can do it through Skype, and then I can record it through the sound card anyway. So it'll be a better recording. You can dial people up. So it'll be an actual, I'm not sure if it'll be Skype or the other one, but it'll be an actual phone service. I got a couple of them to check out. But here's the site. The nuclear proctologist probing the nuclear industry like nobody's ever probed before. And so you click on a picture, and you get a full big size picture. Now you come down a little bit, and I'm still learning. I got a lot to go. I got thousands, tens of thousands of things to get uploaded. But double click on the pictures, and on the left and the right, anywhere at all on the left you can go backwards. Anywhere on the right you can go forward. Or click on the picture itself, and you can jump forward through the pictures. And yeah, look, it's showing up on their screen. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. So let me keep going in that case, because I had issues trying to get the desktop presenter to work. So scroll down, and I'll be changing a lot of this. So you got radiation, irradiated Japan, northeast, south, and west. Double click a picture, or let it clean up. Now this is formatted for 7 different devices, for your cell phones, for your tablatures, for your laptops, for your monitors, for your big screen TVs, and I'm not sure what the other ones are. And to the right and left of each of these stories is arrows, so you can go either direction. But you can click on the picture, and sometimes it'll do that. Not sometimes, that's the second time I've seen it. But you can click anywhere to the left, anywhere to the right to go backwards. You don't have to click on the arrow. So it's really efficient. It's the Fukushima Hounds. And so this is I got a lot of work to do to this, to add to it. And right now I had this package put together. So this, you can scroll down. You can see that's all about radiated Japan. Now you get to the next section. And I'm going to try to divide them by pictures, I guess. And I'll put titles there after. I can put links there. I'll explain that to you as we roll down. We'll get that out of the way, and we'll get back into the show. You have reactors 1, 2, and 3, and 4 condition. I got a hell of a lot more to add to this. But once again, double-click any of these, and then there's one click, and you can move ahead on any of the pictures. These are the headlines, and I'll have... I got all the peer review studies I'm going to be start uploading later tonight. Right now I throw up all the E&E news because, you know, that's an unbelievable resource. Each one of those stories is linking to the mainstream media. What they got done there is unimaginably cool. And as you can see, I got all kinds there. Then reactor 5 and 6, so people can get acclimated. Now these are just the hand-picked ones. I got oodles, and oodles that I got to sort out. And now you come down, and this one here, there's 2,000 pictures, and so you can just click the picture, and you'll jump to the next one, click the picture, and the same thing to the, you got the arrows on this. Now this is a different one. I've been debating whether I have this an auto scroll. Now you can scroll down below it, and you can, it's got the little feed down there. Now these were taken by the Fukushima 50, so some of these pictures are not going to come out very clean. But they're important because they were original pictures. And as we scroll down through the pictures, a lot of them are really nice pictures. Once again, you can download these pictures below my videos. There's links to it, and they're in packages. And it's a very handy thing to have. Now I'll come down again. We got Fukushima melted and ejected nuclear cores. And there's the story, the undeniable story of the nuclear cores. And there's no more debating on this site. Here's the evidence. It puts an end to the nonsense. That's what this is all about. This is about, each one of these are going to get hundreds more, and on more sections. And I'll be doing an article each day on whatever the popular story is. I'm not going to regurgitate what they're saying. I'm going to be putting out the real deal. Now, so you can click through, and up in the right-hand corner, you can just close out that window, and you can keep scrolling down. And you can see I got a lot already on the melted ejected cores. And then we have Fukushima radiation sickness across Japan is over the top. The entire country is contaminated. And as you start, anybody who's trying to figure this out, this is a really good starting base for you. Because it's organized in their hand-picked cherry picks. But don't worry, I'll be putting everything up here in their sections. And there'll be more pages. There'll be sections there for everybody that's under my video coming up in the next few days. It's going to take me 2 weeks just to get started to organize this site. But like, once again, you know, we need 300-foot boats. We need helicopters. We need to be able to go out there. We need budgets. In order to go out and get our samples, we need expensive equipment to test it. I can't do any of that physically. But I know the people that can do it. I can organize it. That's what I've done all my life. I ran multi-billion-dollar operations, commercial diving operations, and I'm intimately aware in both oceans. I've worked every industry in both oceans, upstairs and downstairs. You know, my whole history seems to be for this particular job. It really truly does. Everything about my entire life seems to be to organize this and do this and get it done. And let's put an end to the debate. Let's get some real information out there. And so you can go up to the right hand of any time you got a full screen pictures, up to the right hand, hit the X, get rid of the full screen, and you can see there's all kinds of information there. And have no doubt that I will be loading this up till I got everything up there and it's archived. and that'll be that. Then I don't ever got to worry about it. Everybody got the same stuff that I got. That's what I always wanted. So Fukushima, radioactive fallout for US, was sustained and vicious. So all of this is about US, and I'll be loading that up beyond imagination. That's Unit 3, that's max fuel. It's 2 million times worse than any other reactor on the planet. And this is real time with the desktop presenter. Looks like it's showing up really good over there. Radioactive fallout for Canada, below that picture. These will change. There'll be a hell of a lot more going underneath it. Double click any story. It's okay, Zoe. Come on, honey. Come on, Zoe. Yeah, come on. It's okay. Hey, 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 hey. Come on, Zoe. Odds of plutonium released over Florida is 1 in 420. It's much worse than that from the Mars rover was the next one I had in there. Surface forecast shows radioactive xenon 133 lingering over Florida. High concentrations. Come on, Zoe. Hey, 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 hey. I might have to take off. Hang on, folks. I'll be right back. It's always the dog that drags you around. What are you going to do? There's a lot of cougars on the go and everything else. And we've had some frightening moments around here. We've had deer out there eating flowers a couple of days ago. So that's okay too. And we're back. So let's scroll down a little bit more and then we'll come over to the show for tonight. I'm just really excited that we got a spot where all the information is going to get aggregated. And so we'll have literally everything, and then linking back to the videos. So the Trans-Pacific Oceans at 2 miles per hour, 24 hours a day, takes about 133 days to reach North America. And of course, I got to echo my ear, that's why I talk funny. And every day behind that was another plume. And so you come down, double click your picture, any story. And I got a whole bunch of different formats. So other pages you'll find different formats. Fukushima nuclear pollution hit the U.S. start in 2015, but it only takes 133 days to cross the ocean. And that's why we exist, right? Because of those headlines. And so good and bad, I got them there. And the problem is most people don't know how to interpret a lot of this. So that's why I have to do work nonstop for the next couple of weeks. But at the same time, I got to start doing interviews. That's really important. So you go up to the right hand, click it, scroll down. And the idea was to have it all on one page, just a story, and then multiple pages for everything else after. So that's why this page is like that. And this one here is about the jet streams traveling at 100 miles per hour, cover 2,400 miles in 24 hours. So no matter who they are, they can't come to this page and put up a fight anymore. You can comment on any of the stories at the top of the page, and I'll cover that after. Hang on. Let me come this way. So, under the jet streams, we got evidence of sharp features in the Fukushima plume over southwestern British Columbia to kick it all off. And that was by Health Canada. And they show over an 18-hour period flying along the coastline of Canada. So anybody that's leaning on a fence or doesn't understand that, this is a hard hitter right there. Because that's Health Canada done that and then hit it away, right? And you can come down through it, and there's lots of diagrams. California, I decided I needed to get one there because California, when you look at the trans-Pacific pollution, the way forest fire particles and automobile particles from Asia come across the ocean, they linger over California. And so that's why I came on to California the way I've always have, is because California is a huge part of that equation. And once again, I got so much to come up on this site. The site will continually add underneath what's already there to fill out, the more and more, because I got so much on so many computers. I've had so many computers get taken down in the last 8 or 9 months. We go all the way back up to the top. So where you see new blog, it'll be saying articles, and they'll all be written by me. And contact, there's a contact email there for me. I'll have my phone number as soon as I can get the next few days. I'm going to buy that online as soon as I get the opportunity. But I'm still got so much I want to get up in the next couple of days because I know people are going to the site. And you can donate to me with MasterCard, with Visa, with American Express, with the other popular ones. And that's through a legitimate service, a high-class service. I don't have any access to any of the numbers or anything like that. And it takes a lot to fund what we want to do. This is not a game. So that's something that I struggled with, was I going to do this or not. And I can't do it, obviously, on my own. It's impossible. The budget, I need about 26 million people to give me 50 cents each to get the job done, to equally actually get the job done properly, to definitively say what's happening, to explore the 2,000 square miles. We want to put cameras out there and live stream that back to you. We want to live stream everything back to you as we're doing it, so you can see what's happening, where your money went. And I think that's a unique part of all of this, is that's my intentions of everything I'm doing, and also all the interviews and everything else is. But what if I go this route, if you support me and I do this, then all the boats that'll be out there and all the drones, and we will live stream it back to you continuously. That's the point of what we're doing. You get to see it in real time, same as us. You get to see the Geiger counters, dead carcasses, or the life, hopefully. It's all life, hopefully. Hopefully we're all wrong. See? That'd be fantastic. It'd be worth the money to find that out. And I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be communicating with the whole system through webcams. And so I won't leave my place. And so I'll always be here. I'll always be updating, always pumping it out, the information that we're discovering. And because I have the history of the diving and the industry itself, then my targets will be 4,000 or 5,000 islands and the 2,000 square mile tsunami. So I intend to go hardcore because everybody out there is lying so much. I've been forced to do everything I've done. You're forced to do what you're doing. Everything here is debunks everything they've ever said. It's in like Japan. Anybody goes through this, they'll get Japan. Anybody goes through the next section, they'll get 1, 2, 3, and 4, just as well as me and you. And anybody goes through any of these sections is going to get it. So you can't pull the wool over everybody's eyes when you come to this site, because this is straightforward. It's all there. But I got so much more to get up there, and you'll see this grow. And the point is, it's no good doing what we're doing if we're not going to do it ourselves. That's the only way anything will ever get done. Let's jump off of this. Yeah, well, we got everybody. Ronald, give me 50 cents. There you go. Nuclear proctologist. I'm the nuclear proctologist. My name is Dana Durnford. I'm in Powell River, British Columbia, Canada, on the inside of Vancouver Island. And I am well known throughout Canada. And so I think I am, and I'm honest as they get, so I think I'm the better candidate. Because I will tell you the truth. If it's horrible, I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If it's wonderful, I'm certainly not going to hide that. I need to get on with my own life. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why you're doing what you're doing, right? And so let's jump over to the Wirecast and see if I can actually get back on track for that. And so the screencast looked like it came out pretty good. I'll increase the quality and see if I can get it better. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. It's a big guess, same as the website. You know, I fudged it together. I managed to get everything working. I donated $25 to myself today. That actually works. And, you know, how many thousands have I spent already? It's inconceivable how much money I have spent up to this point. And we have spent up to this point. But here it is, the nuclear proctologist. And no matter if I get a nickel, nothing is going to change. Don't get me wrong. But if we want to go out and find out what's going to happen and what is happening, and if there's anything we can do about it in the rally to support, we need the site to educate the people, and we need to physically get out there and do that. And so I do know the people that can do that. I can bring on a few hundred people, seasoned veterans. I can bring on hundreds of commercial divers if I have the ability to support that. I could really bring it all together. These got incredible talents, and experience on the oceans, and they can run parts of the operation extremely efficient, effectively, safely, and beneficially be able to extract what I tell them. And I'll be able to communicate with any of them in real time through, through the internet and wireless communications. And so that's the option we got. I'm putting myself out there. I got nothing to hide. I don't care. I'm not afraid of anything. I don't care. I didn't do nothing wrong. We have to do this. There's 8.8 million species on the planet, and if we don't get our asses in gear, that number is not going to be very healthy very soon. And let's walk through some fun stuff I got here for everybody tonight, because I'll rattle, you know me. Just a reminder, the model you're looking at is cesium-137. That's NOAA. That's the American government. That's not a fable. It's not a fabrication. That's not an illusion. That's based upon a single reactor lease. Fukushima had 4 major reactors, 1, 2, 3, and 4. From the left, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or is it on my right? Now, I'm not sure. I got audio on that. Let me double check. Okay, I got audio on that. Now, the reason we're doing this is because most people are radiation sheeple. They don't understand it. It seems overwhelming. It seems too complicated. And that's the idea behind the nuclear proctologist, where everything I talk about all the time is aggregated so they can take their time, and in a real simple, clean format, everybody can find their way through it. I actually got people who don't know how to use computers. I got them to sit there and try it, and they willingly loved it. They just loved it. They thought it was like absolutely unbelievably easy to use for them. So that was a big win-win for us. That I visually got to recognize that. So tonight we got Richard. Is it Richard? I can't even remember. Hang on. I got to scroll down. Good night, Stacy. Good night, Miss Milky. And I sent you a text message, but I don't think you got it for some reason. You didn't get back to me. So Nicholas S. Fisher, and there's a link below to him. And of course, I'm just trying to grab into the conversation, see what was going on. Thank you, Shanigans 775. And it takes 7 days for any donations to show up in my bank account. This all goes directly into my bank account, by the way. And I might even give you that information at the end of the show, and that'll be going up on my site. And because I don't know any other way to do what we want to do, I got no concept of how we can go about it, and it takes so much money for everything, and then have to do it wirelessly and everything else, but we have to do it in high quality. We have to do it in 30 million pixels if possible, and that's the intention. We have the technology now, and I have sourced it all out. You know, I'd be happy with a $10,000 Wirecaster setup, and that is really amazing, that setup, right? I can import everything and everybody into it. That's what it's designed for. And the $1,000 setup I got right now is fantastic. Let's play a video of, and I still have a hard time with his name because there's so many of these people. Nicky, I keep calling him Richard. Nicholas Fisher. Let's try a clip of this and we'll break it down.
So what I'm going to be talking about today is the event that occurred a little over 2 years ago now in Japan, on the northeast corner of Japan, at a place called Fukushima, where there's a nuclear reactor for generating of electricity. There was also severe damage to a nuclear power plant at Fukushima, which obviously knocked out electricity there, but beyond that, it resulted in release of large quantities of radioactivity into the Pacific Ocean, and ever since has scared the bejesus out of everybody in the world. And this is quite remarkable. So,
Right. It's quite remarkable when you look at Unit 3, that it doesn't exist, and that he says it's a damaged reactor, but the reactor is actually missing. The reactor was ejected, and if you go over to the nuclearproctologist.org, and it's a .org, folks, it's 100% non-profit. And that's the only way we can run this. The idea of that .org, by the way, is to make it sustainable so it can run itself without me, removing me basically from the equation, so it can run itself under if necessary, right? That's the point of what I'm trying to do there. So unit 3 that you're looking at behind me, does that look like, does unit 3 look like it's destroyed to you? I should have brought that over, I'm sorry. Hang on. That's a little bit better. I know I screwed up sometime tonight. Here's another clip. Let's play this one right quick.
So what is the dose you get from eating tuna? Well, the dose that you get from eating, say, half a pound of tuna, let's say you get a tuna steak, okay, of contaminated bluefin tuna, you would get 0.008 millionths of a seed. The dose you would get from the potassium 40 that was present in those same fish is 0.1. Okay, so that's natural. That's the combined cesium isotopes. The dose you would get from eating potassium-rich foods, such as a banana, would be 0.1. So you would get a bigger dose from eating a banana than you would get from eating the tuna from the cesium. Yes. So what is the dose?
So he's saying you get a bigger dose from a banana, which is homeostasis. And if you're not familiar with what homeostasis is, let me come down and find out what I got done with that. I got it there for everybody. Homeostasis is where your body has potassium 40, and then if you eat like a banana, your body can't hold any more potassium 40, so you basically would off-gas it. So he said you would get more, but you can't get more from eating a banana, but that's harmless. It's utterly harmless, and that's why we exist, because we're genetically superior and we are at home with the potassium 40. So potassium 40 is like it's like the cruise control on your car where it regulates your speed, or it's like a thermostat in your house where it regulates the temperature. But here's a quick little video on homeostasis, and I probably smurfed that up and didn't put it in there. Nobody knows. We're Dana done with that. I think that's it there. We can't prove it. Let me double check here. Maybe I can tell by double click. Yeah, homeostasis. And here we go.
Homeostasis is a basic idea in biology, and what it is an organism's ability to keep a constant internal balance no matter what's going on in the environment.
So homeostasis regulates the potassium 40 in your body. So potassium 40 has nothing to do with it. Now the cesium in the tuna, if you ingest the cesium, you accumulate it. It's cumulative. And so you have, as you eat more and more and more of it, you have more and more of it in you. And this is putting out for 30 years, a half-life, but 300 years for a whole life before it loses its energy. So in 300 years, if you're still alive, you're going to have these big tumors under your arm, because that's what it does. Your body attacks it. You won't live 300 years, trust me. So 5 or 10 years later, you got this big tumor because you keep ingesting more and more, so you got another tuna. Now, if you got cesium, you also got something else. He only tested for cesium, and he talks about how expensive and laborious and laborious it is to test for all the other radioactive, the 2,600 radioactive isotopes that he should be testing for. They test for what they call signatures. Let's go to another clip where he talks about, I double check, more bananas? Yeah, this is number 2 on bananas from the same guy in a couple of days to the students at an institution. So he's lying to all the students by talking about bananas, and that's pretty shocking. And then the students, they're trying to trust him and believe him. But here we go.
Has the fish been tested since this time?
Yes, we're doing that. I'll get to that.
And about 5 minutes?
Yep.
Nick, so we
Okay.
can have discussion time.
Sure.
Thanks.
Dental x-ray, 5 microsieverts. A flight, say from New York to LA, from the cosmic rays at 40. So just to put this into perspective, it's very low. Then we consider people who eat a lot of tuna or a lot of seafood and how much they get in a year. So they would get equal to about 4.7 microsieverts, which is equal to 47 bananas in a year.
47 bananas in a year. That's pretty scary, dude. What are you doing with those bananas? What did those bananas ever do to you? Did your old lady leave you for a banana? Is that what's going on? She had a crush on a banana? I know. Hey, 47 bananas, that's not too bad. I walk by bananas in the supermarket every day. Little beady eyes watching me. How bad can that be? They ain't got legs. They can't chase me down, get at me. They would if they could. They don't like the nuclear proctologists, I can assure you. You should feel those eyes in the back of your head at these supermarkets. It's bad news, mister. It's some scary stuff. Now, he talked about sunshine, getting on an airplane. This kind of stuff is not like chest x-rays. Got nothing to do with ingesting. You're getting an x-ray 1,440 minutes in a day, every day. So why did he equate that? And why does he use the words bananas, which are homeostasis? And of course, if you ingest a radioactive particle, you're getting an x-ray every moment of your life, depending on what it is and how much if you eat a lot of tuna, you got more and more and more radioactive materials in your stomach, in your body, sequesters in your organs, in your lungs, in your bones, leukemias, your pelvis, where you're producing all your white blood cells. But don't think this stuff, just 1 second. So this stuff fell out over North America. This is a 40-day model. And so it wasn't just the humans that ingested all of this, the animals and otters, not just the otters and minks and sea urchins and snails and all the other fish in the coastline. Let's go to another clip. But all the creatures, the moose and the bears, and I had a picture was supposed to go with all that. I'll get to it, I guess. I got enough. I got to get through it. Here we go. Now here's another clip. Hang on. I double check what the name of this one is. This is... did I jump one? Here we go.
What we're talking about today is the event that occurred little over 2.
No, we done that one. I must have doubled them up. That's how you do it. You make a copy. So here it goes again.
People in Japan would be exposed to more because they eat more seafood and their seafood is more contaminated. So we calculated what that was. So in Japan, they're getting the equivalent of about 1 banana per day. It's still very low.
So in Japan, they're getting equivalent of 1 banana a day. From just this reactor alone is 3 times the size of Chernobyl. This reactor alone was, without the max fuel, was 100% meltdown. Chernobyl was a 30% meltdown. So just this alone, right there, is 9 times worse. But reactor 3, what you're looking at right now, that's missing. The fuel pools is missing. The reactor is missing. The core is missing. The fuel pools are missing. Some of that melted down, is headed down into the planet. Lots of it was aerosol and atomized and evaporated and distributed far and wide over the planet. Now, it's not just cesium-137. It's all their daughters, cesium daughters. There's 100 times more strontium-90. And strontium-90, just to get things in context, here's Ken Buesler from the same Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution talking about how far Fukushima has went in the ocean in the first 30 days.
And these little arrows are the location and strength of the current called the Kuroshio. We like to call it the Gulf Stream of the Pacific because we're more familiar often with the Gulf Stream. Very fast moving current, moves like a little snake offshore. And when you release a contaminant that's soluble, it's going to move with those currents as fast as 1,500 kilometers here in 1 month. This is a prediction from a Japanese model. Several groups were doing this early on, as you can imagine. And these little arrows.
So several Japanese groups confirmed 1,500 miles in the first month. That's because at 2 miles an hour, 24 hours a day, it's 50 square miles. Particularly when you look at it over 1,200 days now. It's the real deal what we're talking about. Here's another clip we got to get through. Let me double check, make sure. I got no idea. Something he says. Here we go.
What about the dose to the organisms themselves? And I'm going to make this very short. There are a number of isotopes that we consider. The dominant radioisotope in terms of the dose is an alpha-emitting radioisotope, polonium-210. It's naturally occurring.
Now you heard that. The dominant one they're worried about is polonium-210. It's a natural occurring. What has that got to do with these melted reactors? Why did he say that to all those children at our institution and everywhere else he goes? Why did he do that? My goodness. We're talking about man-made radioactive material, and he injected natural plutonium. So let's continue on with that.
Comes from the decay of uranium, which is ubiquitously dissolved in the ocean.
So he's talking about your natural uranium that's already in the ocean. Why is he doing that? Those reactors run on man-made ionized radiated elements, uranium-238 and plutoniums. Why is he talking that way? Why did he do that? That's very confusing to me, because natural polonium has nothing to do, and he said it was natural polonium. That's why I'm doing this tonight. Let's keep going. Here's let me keep going on that clip.
Polonium-210 is a very powerful alpha emitter, has a half-life of about 4 months. And the dose that you get from polonium-210 that we get, or that, say, the animals get, is much greater from polonium-210 than from cesium or so.
Now that's a staggering comment. They get more of natural radiation than they do of man-made. Like, what kind of world does he live on? So grammar is really important, right, to these people. And nobody challenges them. Nobody says, hey, wait a second, mister, that's natural. We thought you were going to talk about Fukushima's man-made ionized radiated elements that don't exist anywhere in our solar system. They're not created by the sun. You won't find them on the moon. You're not going to find them on Mars. They're man-made. Hence the name man-made. But keep going. Hang on. That's fascinating that he's doing that, eh? He flipped it to natural.
What about the dose to the organisms themselves? And I'm going to make this very short. There are a number of isotopes that we consider.
So he never considered, he's talking about all natural ones, see? Even though he got it there.
Well, we published this in a prominent journal, Proceedings National Academy of Sciences. And yeesh, the public reaction was actually the most interesting thing of the whole process.
Hang on a second. Now you hear what he just said. We published this and the reaction. Now he had all these medias and everything else run with it. The bananas. Now here we go.
700 newspapers in the U.S., at least 400 overseas, carry this, often on the front page. Every newspaper except the New York Times, which is the only paper I read, but there you go. But this, it got a tremendous amount of attention. It was on every TV show, every radio station. It's not every day I get invited to be interviewed by Al Jazeera, for example. So it was quite remarkable, and there was a lot of attention, and people were scared, and they were titillated by it. And immediately, of course, there were cartoons. This one was sent to me from Boston Globe, and well, we published this.
So 700 newspapers, all the TV stations, all the major media carried it. All of it carried it. And that's the whole point, because it's so flawed and so outrageous. It's so twisted what he's doing there that's how he gets away with it. You know, I want you to think about what I'm going to say to you here. That's the official picture of Unit 4, and that's the official picture of Unit 4. Now, you're not going to see any cutting torches. You're not going to see anybody in there with scaffolding. What you're going to see is a fable That's what he's doing in his lectures, and that's what he's doing to all those children, right? All those kids that are sitting there with their trust in him and their faith in him and with their admiration of him because he's an esteemed professor from that institution. And he lied to every one of them nonstop for the whole presentation. Does it get any more frightening than that? Can it possibly get any more bizarre than that? That you see the one there at the bottom picture, when people stand up, then the ones that are controlling you have no options now but to bow down. And they want you to think that all the world is in harmony with the nuclear industry. It's not. It never was, and it never can be. That's Unit 4. That's destroyed. It's disintegrated. The building detonated extensively, and there's nothing left there that is stable. He sprayed salt water, and I got pictures of salt water being sprayed on it. And if you don't understand some of that stuff, here's a picture coming up of the hoses down to the coastline, and they're sucking water out of that 40 or 50 days, and that creates these sulfur particles, these buckyballs. You got to think of the carnage that was going on there, the melted reactors and melted cores. We're going to come back up to another clip about the atomic girls during the Manhattan Project. It's a short clip. You might have to adjust your volumes. Here we go.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Fascinating story. Obviously, what was created here was essentially a company town. And I'm wondering, for lack of a better word, what the governmental or administrative infrastructure was to run this town. Was it all the Department of Defense? Was it the Army? How was that done?
It was a mind-boggling group of government organizations, private contractors. I mean, everybody from Tennessee Eastman to Kellogg to Monsanto to a tremendous number of private companies as well. I mean, in many ways, really the birth of the military-industrial complex. And, you know, a lot of those companies...
The birth of the military-industrial complex. That's what we're dealing with here about Fukushima. That's who's trying to control the narrative about Fukushima. Good luck on that one. We got the nuclear proctologist is now up and running. Ha ha ha. It's very coming for you now, Mr. Big Shots. And we're going to sort that out. That's what it's all about. Now that's the new .org. And once again, let's go back to Nicholas Fisher. I didn't have to check that time.
Time scales there, because I was very confused about that for a while.
Okay, so 1960, 1970, 1980, and then I think that's what you need to worry about. Right. So these are the timescales for the decay, basically, of cesium-137 from 1960 through 2010. And then this time scale is the input of radioactivity from Fukushima. And so there was all of a sudden a tremendous, orders of magnitude higher input of cesium-137 from Fukushima, orders of magnitude higher. Now, people use terms like orders of magnitude, they're very flippant about it, and we think nothing of it. Just to give you an idea, one order of magnitude is, say, the difference between your walking speed and a car driving by. 2 orders of magnitude is your walking speed and a jet plane flying overhead. Okay. So an order of magnitude is a big deal.
So orders of magnitude are a big deal. And when you're talking about way up there, now what that map is showing you is the Woods Hole 1,500 miles off the coastline. You didn't see any distortion in the distance that time, did you? I don't know if you're paying attention. I'll flick on it.
This is many orders of magnitude greater release of cesium-137 from Fukushima, and it peaked.
Now you got to realize that it's not just cesium-137. That's a byproduct of the nuclear fuel rods, uranium-238, that are missing. They're missing. They melted, they burnt, they destroyed themselves, and we are left with the mess to try to deal with it. That's what we're up to. We're trying to, salvage the planet. What they got done to us is unimaginable. That's why they're lying to all those children. That's why they're manipulating your loved ones. So he goes around talking to your children, telling them bananas, telling them that the world... Now here's he talking about Woods Hole. Nope. I smurfed it up. Oh, here's another one. We'll get to that one in a minute.
134, then there net loss of 134 than there is 137. Plus 134 has a shorter half. When they get into California waters, they're still taking in a little bit of bomb fallout 137 and losing both 137 and 134. Yellowfin tuna will only take in 137 and no 134. So this, in a nutshell, is what's happening. Then we tried to calculate, well, how, by using the ratio of 134 to 137, what was the radioactivity of those fish when they first left Japan? And this is a long story, which I'm not going to have time to go into in today's lecture, but suffice to say that we knew that when they left Japan, they should have had a ratio of 1 to 1, of 134 to 137. So we could determine when that ratio was, how many days before time of capture in California, and it was about 4 months. So they took about 4 months to 120 days to cross the Pacific, which is about when. So we think they picked up the cesium in only like 2 weeks in waters off Japan, on the order of 2 weeks, and the fish were about 15 times more radioactive we calculate, when they left Japan than when they got to California. So they lost most of their radioactivity during the migration to California. The radioactivity in the fish, by the time it got to California, only 3% of it was Fukushima. 97% was natural.
So you hear that one? 3% was Fukushima, and 97% was natural. So that's why it's okay, because 97% was natural. 3%! See how, but they're telling you the truth, but then they tell you all the lies and they manipulate it at the same time. 3%. 3%. That's frightening. There you go. But he blows it off as because 97% is natural, because everything you got is natural. Your body is full of it. Everything you got out there. If there was no nuclear weapons, it would still have all that natural radiation. It's not real radiation. Radiation is man-made. It's ionized. It's radiated. It's not the natural stuff on this planet. They do that to fool you, to trick you, to deceive you, to manipulate you, to actually make you even stupider, to make you go argue and fight and ignore what we tell you.
2011. We, together with colleagues at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution...
Are those concentrations near the facility? Or
yes, they're pretty close to the So coastal waters near Japan. Okay. Yeah, not around here. Yes?
Why is it only cesium that's studied?
It's not only cesium. The dominant radionuclides, well, I'll get to that. Okay. But if I don't get to it, remind me.
Okay.
So there was together with some colleagues at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, we mounted a cruise that was about 2 months after the time of maximal release of radioactivity from Fukushima into the Pacific. And
2 months after, they were still fighting the meltdowns. They were 7 months straight fighting it. And they sent in homeless after homeless after homeless like they're doing. They're running out of homeless. It's frightening that people like that are saying that stuff. That's really disappointing. Once again, that's Unit 4, fuel pool. That's Unit 4, fuel pool. Once again, that's Unit 4, fuel pool. Do you remember what Unit 4 looks like? Look at it. Now, how did it get from that, when you can't touch Chernobyl, to that? Anybody? Somebody? And right alongside of it is this thing. This is Unit 3. It's 2 million times all on its own worse than any other reactor on the planet. It's 18 million times worse than Chernobyl's accident. And I don't know if you're familiar, but it actually went boom, and it blew its top, and it don't got no top no more. It was like, I don't want nothing to do with tops. You guys are sissies. I want me a, I can't even come up with the name of it now, a convertible. So once again, you got 1, 2, 3 exploded. There, boom, 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 boom. And then they sprayed salt water all over it, and they created this urethol peroxide sulfur elements that are actually like little nuclear engines. And just the salt water is particles, is atoms. When that goes on the melted core, that's atomized in the aerosol, the water. The building, as it caves in on top of itself because of the massive heat from the melted cores, way to freak down, probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet, if not miles underneath it. You got to remember, there's 100 foot of topsoil. Topsoil ain't going to stop jack shit at 9,000 degrees from going through, okay? Doesn't work that way. So don't fall for that one. So you got to realize, once again, this is Fukushima, but 600 helicopter pilots done the same thing at Chernobyl, and they all died of radiation poisoning. You have to push back. You got to stand your ground. You have everything right. They're going to send it to thugs, but you have to stand your ground. This building is destroyed. But yet the NRC told the Congress, the Senate, on C-SPAN 6 weeks ago that the integrity of this building was fine. That there was nothing wrong with this guy right here. And that the integrity of the fuel pools was intact and the fuel pools were perfectly fine. Have a look at that. The fuel pool doesn't exist. It's gone. They won't admit it. They won't talk about it. They won't recognize it. They spend all day and all night pumping out mouthpieces like Nick Fisher, who talks about bananas and sunshine and getting on airplanes. And so that's not science. That person should definitely lose his degree. He has no right hanging on to a degree. The entire history of the industry is one lie after another lie. That's Hanford. 450 billion gallons dumped directly in the soil in the 50s and 60s. They got 41 miles of unlined trenches. They don't wear these uniforms for something to do. They wear it because they're stupid. They're supposed to be wearing lead outfits. They shouldn't be there in those uniforms. The Fukushima employees should be all wearing great big thick lead outfits. And even then, they shouldn't be out there. They should be all robots. Think about the industry, 5.5 million rounds. This is the government website. This is what they fired to get 11,000 Taliban every month for 9 years. That's what we're up against. The crazies, the mentally retarded, the inbreed, the mongrelized war machine. Like we're just, the atomic girls. Manhattan Project, the military-industrial complex, was the ability to rally all of these people, get a hold of all the natural resources, turn your back on everybody, and just focus in on getting a paycheck and not worrying about the future. Well, Dash Unit 4 and Dash Unit 4, they both can't be the same building, but according to the media, they're both the same building. They're as different as imaginable. The buildings are completely destroyed. And the media comes out and says they're okay. We have to come out and counter. We have to come out and stand proud, stand tall. We have to come out against the crazies like Woods Hole, like the Ken Buslers. Here's another one from Ken Busler. Hang on. It's one you know also well. Now he's going to talk about how natural drinking water now has 7,400 becquerels a kilogram or cubic meter of cesium-137 in it. This is man-made and is not natural. This is man-made. It doesn't exist in nature. It's cesium-137. Here we go.
So we've been saying for about 2 years that there's a continuous source, much smaller, and let's put that in context of regulation
It's under
limits.
Fukushima.
Japanese were saying, well, they didn't have any leaks. I think they were looking at their regulatory limits. You're allowed to put about 60,000 becquerels per cubic meter in the ocean by their regulation. This is our drinking water limit. In Japan, it's about 10,000. That's what you're allowed to drink. I put a banana on the scale here. These are relatively similar to the natural radionuclide.
So here's the natural. Potassium right over my shoulder, and uranium across word in petibecquerels. These are natural. These are insignificant. These are normal, indigenous, everyday homeostasis elements. Do you remember that? Here again.
Homeostasis is a basic idea in biology, and what it is an organism's ability to keep a constant internal balance no matter what's going on in the environment.
So it's stupid. It doesn't belong in the conversation. Let's continue.
In the ocean, potassium 40. So while they're elevated, those levels are no longer of concern when I was out there in June for my direct exposure, but we'll move on later to seafood, and when you consume the isotopes, what that means for your internal dose, and that is still of concern today. So we've been saying for about 2 years that there's a continuous source, much smaller, and let's put that in context of regulation limits. Japanese were saying, well, they didn't have any leaks. I think they were looking at their regulatory limits. You're allowed to put about 60,000 becquerels per cubic meter in the ocean by their regulation. This is our drinking.
They're allowed to put 60,000 in by drinking water standards in an extreme places in Japan. They decided it was okay. Then they equated that with man-made radioactive material. Is how they done that. Let's go back.
Water limit in Japan is about 10,000. That's what you're allowed to drink. I put a
Potassium.
banana on the scale here. These are relatively similar to the natural radionuclides in the ocean, potassium 40. So while they're elevated.
See, he's claiming that natural radiation or man-made is equivalent to natural because of the way they fudged it into and assimilated it into your universities, your institutions with the apologists who have brainwashed your kids. This is what he was doing that time. And now, so the EPA never told you this, but there's 7,400 becquerels. And as you drink that and wash with it and cook your food in it, it's cumulative. And so the site, the nuclear proctologist, tonight or tomorrow or the next day, I'll get all kinds of cancer remedies up there, natural remedies. You have to learn to eat organic. You have to switch off craft. You have to switch off to genetically modified critters that have infiltrated every aspect of your life. In 57 minutes, let me come over and say goodnight to everybody. So I pushed out the site, the nuclear proctologist. I was nervous, so I made a fool of myself, I'm sure, tonight. That's the way I work anyway. I got no shame. But the point is, I can't do anything. I'm not like Woods Hole. I got 850 scientists. I'm not like, I don't have 300-foot boats like do 500-foot boats. I don't have the ability to go out and counter what they're lying about. And obviously they're lying about everything they open their mouth about. That's what they've done the entire time they've been there. And so what are we going to do? We can't trust anything out there. I can't. The only way I'm going to trust is if we deal with ourselves. And the evidence is already here in British Columbia. You got to realize, 50 square miles a day, there's 1,440 St. Paddy's Day plumes going into the ocean every day from Fukushima, from 3 melter reactors, and then melted down at the fourth one that was in the spent fuel pool and caught fire and detonated and blew up, as I showed you tonight. You can go check out the site. There's 2,000 pictures in one spot there of Fukushima from the Fukushima 50. And once again, what Ken Buesler is saying is criminal. What Nick Fisher is saying and implying and getting away with to all those students in the link below and in the show tonight is criminal. That's criminal. I'm not capable of lying to people. I can't look at people and say, hey, You know, it looks like that, but they came in with a fairy wand. No one knows that it could be done or how they done it, and now it looks like Molly made and everybody's hanging out. But the reality of it is, the building is no different on the inside. You can't change that. You got X-rays and neutrons that'll cook you like a chicken. That's why they're sending the homeless in there, and that's why they're lying to you. That's why they're manipulating you. They're deceiving you, just like they always done, and like they'll continue to do unless we put them in their places. It's up to us. It's up to us. The fable of the animals living in harmony is exactly that. It's a fable. The fable of them being able to control us is only because people bow. The minute you stand up, they're done. It's all over for them. And they don't understand it, but they will when the time happens. And that time is now. The robotic industry is going to come. It's going to do us in. We move now to take back our planet and to try to give 8.8 million species an opportunity to survive. The damage is indeed overboard. Good night, Miss Milky. I tried the other day. We'll get to Skype. We'll try again and again. Then we'll do it all the time. John, Ronald, Adam, Irinaril, Lori, Mr. I can see the nuclear proctologist. Everybody like that? Yeah. Leave your comments at the end of the show here so I can catch that right away. See if you had, because obviously there's a lot of comments here tonight, and I'm going to go through them all. That's for sure. Because I'm really excited that we got a spot where people can go read through it and realize that it's all that media on the planet. That's not just E&E News. They're aggregating all that media on the planet. Under each one of those stories is all kinds of more headlines if you go over to it, right? It's not just a headline. There's all the other major links that they link to of the same story. It's an unimaginable history of it. Okay, folks, the nuclear proctologist signing out. I send hugs and well wishes for everybody. The site will get better over the next few days. It'll be a lot better. There's a email link there. Check the sites. I'll be doing articles. I got 2 wrote. I just haven't posted them yet. And they won't be posted till tomorrow morning till I double check it. Because I haven't stopped today to try to get the site at least looking a little bit better for you folks. Take care, folks. Hugs. We'll catch you tomorrow night. We're good to go now. I can trust me on that one. We're going to keep going full steam. Take care.